We brought out the 69 boys who joined us here. By the way, they will be after this. As you know, think about it to yourselves. Do you go to check out the venue? Can you walk into a venue and immediately say, okay, I know exactly where the lights are going to be? We're not all Ben Stowe. We can't just sit there, look at a room like, I know where the lights are going to go. Sometimes you got to go in there, kind of measure and bounce out lights. The first thing of lighting placement that I like to talk about is bouncing lighting. And this prevents what I call hot spotting. For example, if you have, let's say, 4 or 5 par cans, right? The LED par 64s, and you aim them right over here. These guys are going to look like the surface of the sun. You guys may not be hit that far back at all. And you guys will, forget y'all, okay? Sorry, you don't get covered in lights. So that's a little bit tough. But let's say that this room had, the white ceilings so the lights could reflect off. I could take those par cans, bounce them off the ceilings, and now it's hitting the entire area evenly with lights. Now, one of the really cool things about that we have discovered after talking to photographers is the average photographer hates it when you have a DJ that puts a really bright light here, a really bright light here, and everything else is completely dark. It's too bright, and you know that it already fills up a gym. Let's say we have a light show here, and the gym is plenty. This is a gymnasium at school. The students are dancing, and it's really bright. It's so bright, you got to go in there. I use CompuShow and Medicon, so I take the Medicon fader and I fade them down a little bit. And I have to do that every time. Why would I buy something that's even brighter? What's the point of that? When I can take that money and save it, we're investing towards a different lighting route that we're going to want to go. Once you have bright or LED floods, and I always pick on the LED floods, once you have them that they're bright enough, why are DJs buying more LED floods? They're selling them before they even get a chance to actually make the money out of them. I just wanted to do that right then and there. Let me tell you right now, if you go up to a photographer and you tell them, I do not put laser dots on the bride and groom, they're going to love you right away. Now, you may say, but Ronaldo, these laser machines project dots everywhere. It's hard to control. It's called duct tape, folks. Just duct tape those areas so it doesn't hit the bride and groom. Now let's talk about what the client truly wants. But before I get to that, I want to talk about why are we selling to other DJs and not clients. I'm not saying everybody here, but I've just noticed quite a bit online. People get their feelings hurt by what a DJ says, and it's like it's going to affect their paycheck. You can't do wash lighting because there's this horrible wooden truss everywhere, and there's not a lot of outlets. There's only like 8 outlets in the entire place, but the bride and the venue, they love it. Now, you know the best part about this setup? These are not LEDs. These are lights we've had forever. We've had, the par 36 cans. We got rid of the incandescent bulbs. We got the halogens. But I mean, I can have my clients get LED bulbs. In this case, they didn't have the budget for it. So instead of saying, well, sorry, you can't get LEDs, I tell them, okay, well, we've got these. They're more economical, but they don't change color, and they have a few draw lighting. So first of all, you got to ask yourself, are you going to offer architectural lighting? Are you going to, for example, uplighting, gobos, textures, even lasers? For example, even if you have lasers and you use the laser to do a graphic of the bride and groom, that can be considered architectural lighting. Party lighting, your moving heads, your floods, your strobes, your beams, anything like that. And of course, you can do special lighting, such as your black lights, RGB lasers for actual washes and all that. Or you can do all of them, of course. But you can't say, well, Arnaldo, I'm going to do party lighting only because I don't want to do architectural lighting, and that's fine. But don't say, well, I'm going to do party lighting, not architectural lighting, but I am going to offer uplighting and gobos. Okay, well, hold on. If you're going to offer uplighting and gobos, you're doing some sort of lighting for the actual, to enhance the venue, not just the party. So at that point, start writing your business plan. What light are you going to go with? Now, you can go with this light. The very last song, we turned off all the floodlights. Okay, so that show, right? That was only 4 lights. And that was all on a remote control. We had no DMX for that. I was like, awesome, Now I can give my schools a much bigger show. I can tell them, okay, look, because you guys don't have enough money to bring out the scanners, we can bring out these couple little blinky lights. Or I can say, hey, look, we've invested in these lights. They're about, this, a little bit of smaller of an upgrade. Not too much bigger to get the scanners, but you're going to get the nice big beams. Yes, these may not have gobos on them, but my clients aren't going to go, ooh, that's a star, moons, Lucky Charms. They just want nice, thick beams. Another example, and sometimes we use them in the bigger shows too. When I have a big show and I just don't feel it's got the shebang that I need out of it, we set them up. Like, this is one of my favorite schools, right? You got a big 20-foot video screen, scary Beyonce, I think that's Beyonce or Lady Gaga, I have no idea, right? And then we have trussing set up in the back, and we wanted something extra besides just black lights, because that trussing was used for the black lights. So we set up these lights, and we had tons of beams flying everywhere, and it fit perfectly with the rest of the show. Again, movers versus scanners. DMX is going to be a huge deciding factor here. If the lighting is directly over you and you're trying to hit the floor and you're letting them go on standalone, or you don't have it properly programmed with DMX, they're only going to hit the floor that you actually want a certain amount of times. So if you're going to do that and there's nothing wrong with it, consider using a scanner. Again, the right tool for the right job. With some moving heads and some scanners, sometimes you can pick up 4 scanners for the price of 2 moving heads. So let's say you have 4 moving heads or 8 scanners. If you're doing schools, is a client going to notice what fixture you used or how many beams are flying around? It eats power, it's fragile, even though it lasts longer. And LED has the best return of investment. It sips power, it does emit visible light, which we'll go over in a second, but you can DMX and strobe it. You guys think strobe lights are cool? Imagine if you do strobe lights with black lights. That's my favorite part. So again, LEDs and the whole black light deal, right? Your average UV wavelength is about 365 to 368, as you can see right there. Did not get that off Wikipedia. So actually I talked to my friend Bill Cronham about this. LEDs are a little bit higher than that, but visible light will be seen. Oh no, so it won't be a true black light. But does the client actually care? Let me ask you this. Does the average school that wants black lights, do they say, okay, I want you to turn off all the lights in the hotel room with a bunch of teenagers? They're not going to say that. So I tell them, okay, look, we have the LED black lights, but unlike traditional black lights, they still emit a little bit of visible heat or light, so you can actually see the students and it's not going to be pitch black. They love it. Plus, for the most part, when we do our black light shows, we also have other LED floods and stuff on at the same time. But the LED black lights have packed such a powerful punch that they don't get outwashed by the other lights. So you get the best of both worlds. And this is from somebody that used fluorescent lights, you know, homemade from Lowe's for years. But again, it's one of those, use the right tool for the right job. Again, to give you an example, you'll see that really nice and bright. And that's just with the black lights on, right? But what happens if we mix the LED black lights with color changing lights? So even if they have the strobes running, even if you have LED color changing lights, the black lights don't get overwashed by that. They suck up a lot of power. If anybody here has ever used one of the big strobes, you know what I'm talking about. You can also use LED strobes as a bat signal at school dances. How many here have the administrator come up to you and say, make sure you play music safely or I'm going to stop you every 5 seconds. And then they do the administration dance where they're going like this, stop the music. And they have to jump because the average high schooler is like 8'5" nowadays, right? I'm telling you, it's crazy. I'm like 5'5" and 5'6", depending on which convenience store I'm leaving. But anyway, so what I do is, I want to make sure that I address those concerns before they ever come up to me. So I get all the teachers together and I sit them down, I show them the lights and they're like, ooh, ah, oh my God, glow in the dark bubbles, you're the best DJ ever. And then I tell them, okay, now look, if something happens, if there's something on the dance floor that I see that I don't want to bring attention to, and I've only had to do this once or twice.